Welcome to another Walk It Out Wednesdays with Coach T. I am Tori Renee, your women's empowerment coach, and I'm known to all of my journey walkers as Coach T. I actually created this midweek chat to share encouraging words with you that's going to help you walk out your journey to a better you. And by God's grace, because we sure do need it, we're all going to get better at that walk. Okay? Now, for the entire month of June, we're journeying through a new series entitled Speak Life, Master Your Message. And over the next 4 weeks, we'll dive into what it really means to communicate with clarity, confidence, and Christ-centered conviction. Today, we're talking about the sound of your voice. Identifying your voice begins with understanding your communication style. Because before you can actually master your message, you're going to have to know how you naturally show up when you speak. In other words, what are other people hearing when they hear you speak? As Christians, we are ambassadors for Christ. So when we speak, we should be showing the whole entire world who Jesus is. But make no mistake, calm down. God doesn't require you to become some other version of yourself in order to be effective in communicating his character to others. He speaks through your personality, not around it. So whether you're naturally bold and assertive, maybe you're gentle and reflective, maybe you're expressive and emotional, or maybe you might just be thoughtful and analytical. Either way, God wired you that way, and he did that for a reason. And learning how your voice shows up is the first step in learning how to use it with power and, most importantly, with grace. Your temperament relative to your personality actually shapes the tone that is conveyed in your speaking voice. So, what tone are you conveying when you speak? Let's talk about communication styles. Are you assertive? That means you're clear and direct, but sometimes you may be a little too harsh, too sharp, right? Maybe you're passive. That means you're peacemaking. But sometimes maybe you hold back when you actually should be bold, right? When it's required. Maybe you're expressive and you're passionate, but occasionally that's a little over the top for people. It's a little too much. And maybe you're analytical. That's thoughtful and detailed, but maybe you're too hard to read emotionally. And there's no right or wrong answer here, right? It's just patterns. And your communication style is how you've learned to survive. It's how you learn to succeed and connect with others. And becoming aware of that actually helps you grow and learn in how you speak with others and how, more importantly, how you speak to yourself. Because I guarantee you, if you speak crisscross to yourself, you are definitely speaking crisscross to others without hesitation. Simply because it is familiar to you, okay? So this is where empowerment meets grace, because you're going to have to do a little bit of self-examination to identify strengths and then also to acknowledge some areas where you might require growth. You got to ask some hard questions. You got to be able to embrace some of the hard truths, honey, because you're going to find out some and it's going to be hard to swallow. But to communicate well, you've got to know your patterns, what works for you and what gets you and what gets in your way. So you got to ask yourself, what are the strengths of my communication style? Strengths might look a little bit like this. You're clear and confident when you're presenting ideas. This means people will probably tend to see you as a leader and respect you as an authority figure. Maybe you're an empathetic listener. That means you make people feel seen and safe, and people will tend to be drawn to you and actually trust you. Maybe you're actually great at mediating conflict and diffusing tension with calm, thoughtful words. People will often look to you for advice. You know how to motivate and encourage others, especially under pressure. People will typically look to you as a source of inspiration. These are all gifts. You need not be downplaying them, honey. Do not downplay them. These are strengths and how your voice brings value to any and all of the ships. I mean, all the relationship types. But you have to be mindful of the ways you can actually display communication breakdowns, which can sometimes look a little bit like this. Maybe you shut down or you go silent when the conversation gets a little too intense for you. Or maybe you over explain or apologize for setting boundaries even when they're necessary, meaning those boundaries need to be set. You speak reactively or you interrupt to defend yourself, especially when you feel misunderstood. Maybe you avoid difficult conversations altogether because you are hoping by some miracle that it will all work itself out, and it never does. So we've all been there though. None of this makes you weak. It actually makes you human. But here's the difference. When you know your voice, you can refine it instead of restrain it, which means you are able to manage it well. You don't need to mute your passion or not set your boundaries. You just need to align your voice with your values. Let's ground this in the word a little bit, okay? So Colossians 4:6 says, let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everything. All that really means is that we should carry kindness and truth, courage and compassion, and not just sounding good, right? But also doing good. That's the heart of spirit-led communication. Here's a 2-part identify your voice challenge, okay? And it's a journal challenge. The first part of this, actually it's about 4 parts, but here you go. The first part is to first ask yourself if you are an encourager, a straight shooter, a peacekeeper, or if you're highly expressive, or if you're analytic. And then jot down a quick explanation as to why. And keep in mind, you could possibly be a combination. That's okay. Then I want you to ask 3 people the exact same question, and choose people that care about you and care about your growth journey. Okay, and then ask them to select from those same options and then give you an explanation as to why. Then I want you to compare the 4 descriptions and find the most common thread that runs between them. Then I want you to ask yourself, where do I thrive and where do I struggle to be heard, to listen? Then I want you to ask God to reveal any hidden truths regarding your communication style and where you need to improve. And last but not least, I need you to be open to his guidance and his insight, okay? Be receptive. Type in the word voice in the comments if you're going to do this journal exercise, and let's identify our voice together, okay? If you're ready to take your voice, your leadership, or maybe your influence to a next level, I want to walk with you personally. DM me the phrase my sound, and I'll send you the details to book your one-on-one empowerment session with me today, okay? This has been Walk It Out Wednesdays with Coach T. I want to see you next week for week 2 of Speak Life, Master Your Message. Until then, I want you to work on aligning your messages with purpose, with your purpose, and speak life boldly and beautifully. I am the Coach T. Keep walking and just be you.